Hey, we are at Music City with Nick Johnston and Keith Merrow, who came here to do guitar clinic, Schecter guitar clinic. So, how are you guys?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Really?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
So, I think the main thing is that you got here your signature guitars from Schecter. Could you give us like a quick run? You got your USA model, you got your Diamond model. So could you just tell us the main features and the main differences between it?
Absolutely. And it's pretty cool to see Music City has a lot of them. A lot of my guitars is really cool.
Because we love Schecter.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
And especially our guitars.
Oh, thank you very much. So, okay, yeah. This guitar is the Diamond Series version of a custom shop guitar I have. And it's a little more straightforward. It has a roasted maple neck, baked maple neck, ebony fingerboard, 3 single coil pickups that Schecter designs for me, master tone and volume, 5-way switch. It's got the locking tuning heads. This kind of cool circle inlay, I think is really brass inlay. Their proprietary bridge, and it's got the GravTech nut. It's a really straightforward guitar, but for me, it's kind of based on what I always played.
Did you start on Strat?
Yes, I did.
Yeah? You play your whole life on Strat?
I did, yeah. I did. I moved at one point to a humbucker, which is kind of a foreshadowing to this guitar down here. Yeah. And then I moved back just because I went back to kind of my roots, I guess you would say. But this is a little bit more modern, and it's 14-inch radius, 25.5-inch. Super cool guitar. People seem to like it. So there's this guy. And this is actually going to be available in every color pretty much with humbucker option, which I have right here. This is the version that's going to be coming out next year. It's pretty much the same guitar, but it's got a Alnico 3 humbucker. This is the prototype for it that we designed. And I'm going to play it tonight. And then here, this is the newest version. There's a few existing versions. There's a white one, a blue one with a nitro spray. There's the green one, which is the original one, and there's still a few silver ones floating around. Yeah. But this right here, oh my God, this is the newest one. This is, I believe you can see it's orange.
Yeah, it's a new color.
It's a new color.
It's nitro too.
It is, yeah.
I love it.
You can see the cracking, the checking in the paint. And these have slightly different pickups than, let's say, the green one. These are Alnico 3. It's got the 4-bar wiring, so it's got like a different resistance and slightly lower output, because the way I've been playing, I've been trying to hit a little bit harder and kind of wanted that to be reflected in the pickups. And yeah, pretty much the same thing. It's got the brass inlay on this, whereas some of the new ones have the silver. Tiny little cosmetic difference, but yeah, if you like the guitar that I've been playing, if you've played one in the past, it's pretty much
I played all of them which are here. So
oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, so here's the new guy. All right, I'm going to pass it over to Keith, and he can give you the rundown.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
So what you guys have here at the store, you have 2 of the KM6 Mark III standard guitars. The Mark III series was, in my opinion, the first true signature guitar that I did with Schecter. Prior to this model, it was basically, we sort of pick a pre-existing body shape, pre-existing guitars, and then you customize them heavily to your specifications. So this is a baked maple neck with maple stringers. We have a swamp ash body. We have Schecter standard tuners. All the Mark III guitars come with the Ernie Ball compensated nut, which is a really cool feature. Ebony fretboard. The pickups here are pickups that I designed, again, in the Schecter custom shop, and they were adapted to the import line. This one has a burl top. The black one down there has a quilted top. Standard fixed bridge, real simple, single volume, selector, and a coil splitter. And it's just kind of a no bullshit metal guitar. But what we also have, and this guitar, you guys are probably the first to see it actually on camera. This is a prototype for next year. And this is the 2020 We're calling this one the Mark III Hybrid because it's got a little bit different specifications than the current Mark III artist model does. This one has a maple neck, a mahogany body, which is a first for a KM guitar, and also a first is the maple fretboard, which is, you know, a pretty big departure from the ebony that's been on every KM guitar since I started with them, I guess 7 years ago now. It has my signature Fishman pickups in it, hip shot bridge. This one has the standard hip shot locking tuners. Also has the Ernie Ball nut, stainless steel frets. Mm-hmm. And with this one, it doesn't have the different voice selections. This one just has a push-pull switch that activates a preamp boost. So it has the main voicing from my current signature Fishman pickups, but when you pull the switch out, it just gives it a little bit more push. And then just a single selector. So it's just a really clean, simple, elegant guitar.
What about your other gear? Could you just give us a quick rundown of your gear? You
Sure.
play Kemper.
Yeah,
play Mesa
Nick
and
is
Kemper.
using when we come out and we do these clinic shows, we typically share a rig. The heart of it is a Kemper Profiling Amp, and the profiles in it are ones that we created in my studio that work really well with the songs we're out here playing. And then everything is run off the laptop, which we have a Personas interface hooked up to. And for myself, Nick is very minimal when it comes to his clinic stuff. He just uses one tone throughout the entire set, and it sounds amazing every night. I have a lot of different patch changes and things throughout my songs, and so I have them automated. So the tracks are running off a DAW. I have a click track that runs to an in-ear unit, which is in the back of the Kemper rack here. Sent that wirelessly to my in-ears, and as the songs play, it triggers patch changes, and so I'm able to have multiple different sounds, have it sound a lot like the record does without having to step on any pedals. We've been all over the world with the thing, and it's been rock solid for years, so that's what we're using.
Do you always record it? Through Kemper?
No, not always. At home, I have a lot of really cool amps in the studio, and I like to use those. Usually for pre-production stuff, I'll use the Kemper quite a bit, just because I'm so familiar with it, and a lot of the tones that I love are already kind of burned into it. So I do use it a lot. It's probably my most used piece of gear, but in the studio, I do like to experiment with amps and cabinets and things like that.
What about you? Are you recording through tube amps, or you're using Kemper too, or?
I have a Kemper at home. I much like Keith, I would use it just for ideas.
Yeah.
I think actually we have the same. He actually got me onto pretty much the exact same recording setup he uses, which is Studio One and a Kemper. As far as gear, I usually just use guitar direct into an amp, maybe a delay pedal if I'm feeling like I'm terrible that day. My hands aren't working. And I use D'Addario strings. I use 0.8 picks that get brought up. 10 gauge strings. I wear Converse.
And which string do you use?
What's that?
Which string do you use?
String? I use the NYXL strings.
Yeah.
I haven't tried the new ones. What are they called, the new ones?
XT?
Yeah, I haven't tried those yet. Maybe.
You didn't try it?
No, I haven't tried them yet. They haven't sent me
We tried it.
Maybe I've fallen into favor with D'Addario.
We can give you some.
Okay.
We got it here. No problem.
What else? Gear. What else do people use? I have some Universal Audio stuff, but pretty much Schecter. You know, that's the only constant, really constant in. It's the guitar.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that really, for me, that's like, as long as I got the guitar, I can kind of make anything work.
Yeah.
You know.
I wanted to ask you about in-ears, but you already told me that you use it. You play with in-ears too?
Not during the clinics, though. No,
Yeah.
with the band, I like to have a little bit of the. There's so much keyboard in my new music that I actually forget the timing of some of the songs, as in when do I come in. So I with the band, up here it's kind of more loose, and I'm not too worried about if I make any big. If I don't have the blocking right in the song, like I don't mind if I come in late. But with a band, especially because I'm at a point where I'm just opening for bands, I want to make sure I get my point across. I have a click running in my ear.
Yeah.
Plus, self-preservation. with the band, having a drummer, you know, protecting your ears. Up here, I'm not too worried about it. And I just use like the Shure stock ones. He has a bit more of an elaborate rig. I can give it over to him.
I use wireless in-ears, so I currently have the older Sennheiser. I believe it's a G3 unit, and I use Ultimate Ears molded in-ears, so they're completely isolated, completely sealed. I'm going to be switching over to some of the new Shure units for both guitar and wireless here pretty soon. Actually, I was just over in Leipzig, and I was testing out a bunch of different rigs, and after our set, they came up and they installed some units in my rack, and I got to play around with them a little bit, but they needed them back for the show, so we're gonna be working together here pretty soon on that, I think, and I'm excited because they're really nice units.
Can you just tell me, because you're very good, like more rave guitarist for me?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So, how do you write, or do you have some tip for
Sure,
anybody who would like to improve their writing skills? Or?
Yeah, I think my writing process and my kind of procedure for creating music is a bit different than a lot of guys out there. I think it's not based off of theory. It's not based off of anything technical. It's really just, I look at guitar like a paintbrush, and I don't just look at guitar as being, I'm going to write a song that's focused solely on the guitar. I try to think of it more big picture, how everything's going to come together with the drums, the different layers of guitars. So I'll start out with guitar, and I just write off of ear and feel. I don't have any method for going through chords and being by the book about, you know, what's theoretically correct or anything like that. It really just comes from, I try to play what I hear in my head. One of my favorite things to do is write when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is you sort of capture a moment in time.
Yeah.
So every time I listen back to that, it has meaning to me.
Yeah.
You know, you just keep your mind open and always be thinking about it. Always try to write music in your head and then you know, get it out when you can. So.
And for you, what's your best inspiration?
I don't really have that. I just work. I just sit and work and try stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
I need to be sitting there and working, or else I won't create music. I can't create when I travel. I don't hear anything in my head. I have to sit down and work.
Yeah.
So I get inspiration to want to go and do it, but I don't get inspiration for ideas.
Yeah. So your favorite guitarist? Do you have some?
Favorite guitar player of all time is probably Jeff Beck.
Uh-huh. For you?
My number one of all time would be Tony Iommi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Sabbath. Nice.
Yeah, man.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. I'm very looking forward to tonight guitar clinic.
Thank you.
Nick Johnston
Cheers.
and Keith Merrow. Cheers.